Hello everybody. I didn't finish the main bulkhead because there were only a few parts that needed priming, and since the overhead of priming only a few parts is too much, I decided to first continue with the seat bulkhead and then prime all the parts in one session. The seat bulkhead is the bulkhead which is directly aft of the seats. It actually holds the backside of the seat. There are several parts that you have to prepare. I don't show all the, let's say, sawing parts because that's a lot of time. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making all the marking all the parts that need to be either trimmed or sawn or whatever. And this is the bottom part of the bulkhead. So there's a stiffener in there. It's probably also for attaching part of the wing, I guess. I'm not exactly sure yet. But since there is a lot of stiffening and a lot of strong parts, it's probably attaching the, let's say, the aft part of the wing. The main part, the main spars, are of course actually attached to the main bulkhead, which is behind me on the table. The, let's say, anodized aluminum in the back. So there's a lot of drilling involved. As you can see, in this case I mostly use the electric drill. Of course you can do it with the air drill, but yeah, when it's just a few holes I might as well just use the hand drill. It's all aluminum, so there are no steel parts as in the firewall, so I can use normal drills and don't need the cobalt drills. So the part that I'm now attaching, or let's say drilling, is the brackets for the harness. Those are actually from steel, so you have to be careful there, but those holes are pre-drilled, so you only need to make them a little bit bigger. It first took me a lot of time to figure out where they needed to be, but in the end it was actually quite easy. It takes some time before drilling. That's mostly because I want to be very sure that I don't screw it up. Deburring the parts. Before priming, under the paper, under the drawing, there are all the parts that need to be primed. So those are all the parts from the main bulkhead, as well as this from the seat bulkhead. So those white parts are actually the steel parts that are needed for the harnesses, the seat belt. Because the way they are attached to this bulkhead, they interfere with let's say some ribs that later needed to be installed, so you have to trim off some extra work. I don't think you need to do it by all of them, but I decided to do it, let's say, similar for all of them. So I don't like parts that are, let's say, not homogeneous, so yeah. This is actually a second day, so this is another day. And I continue. Currently I'm working on the seat, the back seat rest. I think I did something wrong there, because it was actually funny. I flew with a friend who also has a RV-7, and it's very funny when you see another plane, you always look at the parts where you're currently working on. And I saw his seat. You could set the seat with in a special, let's say, in the back of this in these parts. But I think I did something wrong there, so I need to change that. There needs to be a little space in between the angle, the profile on the back, and yeah, I did it wrong, so I had to trim it a little bit. It was unfortunate, because if I would have flown with him 1 week earlier, I would have seen this and not created it the way I did. But not a big problem. It's easy to solve. However, here I wasn't aware of that yet. The good part is when I have pre-drilled and scuffed all the parts, I can then prime both the parts of this seat bulkhead and also the main bulkhead, which is done by the time I have this this video uploaded, and then I can assemble both of them. And in the back you can see under the Dutch flag, you can see that there's already a firewall, so I'm kind of stacking up all the bulkheads there, and when all the bulkheads are done, I can start, let's say, using all the skins of making it a real fuselage. I also received a longeron bending set from Joop, so thanks for that, Joop, and I will need that for bending the longerons. Sounds a little scary, and it actually is, because if you screw them up you have a problem. Those are the actually long parts, and if you it's probably expensive to get them from the United States. Okay, doing some match drilling. Most of the work is done. I probably need to enlarge some holes for wiring. And once that's done, I can start priming it. Some number 30 holes that needed to be match drilled. Those are actually the holes I needed to enlarge. Yes, I take the uni bit for that. That's much easier. And finished. So I'm disassembling all the parts, ready for priming. I need to scuff them and degrease them, and then we can prime and assemble the bulkheads. Continuing building my pie in the sky.